We believe that no challenge is too big. We believe in shared goals, in getting more out of fewer resources, in dreaming big. We believe in having a purpose and living up to it. Why? Because we believe in a better tomorrow, enabling engineering breakthroughs that lead to a better tomorrow. This is Parker.
Not too long ago, the average person didn't always feel welcome in the world of investing.
It was expensive. It wasn't always clear who benefited most from a recommendation, the broker or the client.
And a regular person actually controlling their own financial destiny?
That would have seemed groundbreaking.
Then Chuck started this firm, our firm.
Based on a simple question, isn't there a better way?
There is.
Schwab was built around a simple idea: put the client first.
Lots of companies say that. But we work to keep clients at the heart of everything we do.
By offering a better, more modern way to build and manage wealth.
We believe investors deserve nothing less.
It means taking a more human approach in financial services.
Treating clients the way they expect to be treated.
We always try to look at the world through our clients' eyes.
We believe our business should be about service, not sales.
Service is the heart of who we are.
It means offering a more intelligent way to invest.
Making sure clients have a variety of sound options that combine the best of what people and technology have to offer.
By using both technology and people, we help make investing easier and more accessible for people who live closer to Main Street than Wall Street.
It also means offering access to high-quality products, services, and insights, all for very low costs.
After all, costs matter a lot. That's why we offer some of the lowest cost products in the industry.
Our entire business is rooted in a strong belief
that investing has the power to transform lives.
And that everyone deserves a partner that'll champion their goals with passion and integrity.
Looking ahead, we're confident we offer a better way to invest.
One that is more human, more intelligent, and lower cost. That's what modern means to us.
For those of us who work here, this isn't just business.
It's our passion, our purpose.
We show up every day to help people.
Help them turn their questions into answers.
Engagement into action.
And opportunity into ownership.
That's the Schwab way.
And that's what we mean when we say,
ask questions.
Be engaged.
And own your tomorrow.
To wind down, for lack of a better word, wind down. And how do you manage your life to get to that point?
Then I guess it depends on each day what you've done at work that day and what you need to do when you get home in order to wind down. But I would say on a typical day for me, I'm not a chef. I don't really like to cook, but I do find that having a great meal and I don't really drink wine, but one of my favorite drinks or something like that, and having that and coming home helps me wind down from the day. And it depends. Maybe I'll watch something that I really wanted to watch on TV, what someone, recommended to me, or, I might curl up on the couch with a book. So it really depends. With this job, sometimes you can go out to a story and it's very chaotic if you're out on breaking news, and you might need a more quiet night at home, or, you know, you go out and you do a, you know, general assignment kind of story, maybe has something to do with schools or something like that. And then you come home and you're like, okay, well, maybe I can do something that's a little bit more lively. So it really depends on the day, but, you know, I'm a homebody, so usually something at home.
Because I struggled with the most was my wind down time is usually in the car, because like you said, you get home, our job, you are going at 1,000 miles an hour for 9 hours a day. And when you get home and you have 2 little ones, you're going at 1,000 miles an hour until bedtime. And so for me, that wind down time has always been the car. And I really missed that when we were in the pandemic. And I literally stood up from my chair and walked 2 feet and sat down at the kitchen table every night. So for me, it's that time in the car. If it was a really bad day, probably listening to the radio or screaming the songs at the top of my lungs. You know, sometimes it's listening to HLN does their like true crime blocks in the evenings, and I'll listen to that just to realize that things could be a lot worse in life depending on how the day went. You know, and other times it's calling my mom or reconnecting with a college friend just to have, you know, a little bit of a voice with someone. You know, time to connect with somebody that hasn't been dealing with what we've been dealing with all day, so that when I get home, I can be rejuvenated and put the smile on my face for the boys, because there are some days, and you know, Jade and Tracy, because they're out there and they're talking to the people, I know it's a lot harder, but you know, when we're covering, you know, little kids dying and, you know, the horrible stories that we have here in Cleveland, sometimes you need that break before you can put that smile on your face before you see your family.
You know, when I saw this question was going to be asked, I really do a bad job at it. As you can see right now, I am in my car, and I have a 14-year-old. So my time, like I'm off Thursday and Friday. Today is an off day. And I spend a lot of time in my car taking her from place to place and then waiting. So I guess this is it. I guess this is how I wind down. I sit in my car and I have some quiet. Before the pandemic, I was doing yoga once a week, and I really liked it. I wasn't sure I was going to be a fan. I loved it. The pandemic came and I stopped. So I do want to get back eventually, but I only have 4 more years until my daughter goes off to college. So I want to try to spend as much time with her as possible. So I guess the other thing, and Kelly knows this too, is, you know, my thing is vacation. And we travel a lot. We're trying to take her to all 50 states before she heads to college. So that's really my wind down time. When I'm with them, when I'm planning a vacation, it makes me, gives me some happiness and no stress. So
that's a great tip. And you know, and this open up the floor to anyone here. It's very hard, you know, for everyone, including myself, to find the time. You mentioned yoga before the pandemic, but with a 14-year-old, it's really hard. 3 and 8-year-old, even when you're at a different spot in your career. What I love about this panel is everybody has different perspectives of where they're at in their life. How do you guys find the time to prioritize something like nutrition, fitness, things that you hear in the media that you're talking about all the time to people? How do you find the time to do it yourself?
I was just going to say, it's like extremely difficult. So it's something that I have to force myself to remember and just like kind of like make it a part of my day, or else it won't get done. So, you know, during the pandemic, I kind of used the, you know, gyms closing down and, you know, stay home as an excuse to like not work out, because that's just the kind of person that I am. So I forced myself to go and get a gym membership earlier this year. And I, you know, make sure to schedule the classes before work, because if I try to go after work, like I have every excuse in the book, like it was a hard day, like I can't go and I'm tired and I just want to cook dinner and go to sleep. So if I do it when I wake up and before work, it's done. And, you know, I can just get on with the rest of the day. And same thing with nutrition. Like I am notorious for like running out of the house with no lunch, and just like, oh, like, I'm just on the go all day. So I'm just like, you know, whatever, I'll grab something when I'm out. And it's probably not the best thing to grab, like fast food and things like that. So I have to make, you know, force myself, make your lunch at home before you even get started with anything for the rest of your day. So when you do have to run out on breaking news, you can grab it because it's right in your fridge in the lunchbox. So for me, it's like I have to be very intentional about making those kinds of decisions, or else it goes by the wayside and it's not great.
We talked a little bit about well-being and self-care, right? And how we manage our time and how we wind down. Another aspect of self-care is financial self-care, right? And making sure that we have well-being in our finances. So I want to ask Tara, what is the best financial advice you've ever received?
The one thing I am so glad I learned early on is that a credit card is not free money. From the very beginning, I would use my credit card and pay it off every month. And even every 2 weeks, every time I get that paycheck, the thought of paying the interest that can accumulate on that makes me very anxious. So so I know a lot of people aren't given that advice at the beginning. They're given these credit cards at a young age and told you can go buy all this new stuff and you just pay it off later, not realizing how hard it is to pay those off. So I am very glad that I learned that early on.
To Accenture, Dress for Success is very important, and the way that it supports the women in the community really aligns with our goals. And so as a board member, getting that understanding, I think, is key to look at event sponsoring, also service days, and volunteering.
I want to start off with, I'm a survivor.